Washington Mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
637 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. It's Brian Wilson and Larry O'Connor. More show today than you people deserve, but we're going to give it to you anyway. At 8:05,
that's the kind of people we are.
General Stanley McChrystal joins us right here on Mornings on the Mall. At 7:35, Brett Baer from your Fox News channel. And at 7:05, Eli Lake, foreign correspondent for the Daily Beast. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Brian Wilson.
And standing by now on what we like to call the Newsmaker Hotline is a guy who knows more about traffic than the law allows, Dr. Gridlock. His real name is Robert Thomson, but you read him in the Washington Post, you know of him as Dr. Gridlock, and we thought it'd be a good day to have him on because we got this thing happening on Monday, you know, where like 800,000 people are going to wander into the city and clog up our streets.
Well, if they all walk in, that would be fine.
Yeah, they won't walk in. They'll drive in. How are you doing, Dr. Gridlock?
Just great. Looking forward to chaos on Monday.
Well, how bad is it going to be?
Well, it's hard to predict. It's about as hard to predict as it was to predict whether we were going to get snow yesterday.
Apparently, we missed that one pretty badly.
Winter weather alert advisory.
So the traffic plan is actually a bit more liberal than it was in 2009.
Yeah, well, his second term is going to be pretty liberal, too, so I guess that goes along with it.
You set him up. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Doc. Sorry.
We expect more of the bridges to be open. That's the part that I think drivers are going to like, at least until the point where they get into the city. Once they get across the bridges, traffic's going to be diverted in many cases. The one bridge that will remain closed to pedestrians only, open for pedestrians only, is the Arlington Memorial Bridge.
Okay.
That's the one we'll be walking across, I think. The recommendation, of course, is still to take Metro, and just about any way you choose to come in, whatever your first mode of travel is, you're going to wind up walking a pretty good distance if you're going to see the inauguration.
Yeah, Arlington Memorial, that bridge, that's a heck of a trek. I mean, you park over there, walk across the bridge, and you're only at the Lincoln side of the mall. You got to trek all the way across the mall to get over to where the inauguration is going to be.
About 1.7 miles.
Wow, so that's a hike.
This is part of the First Lady's obesity fight.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I remember 4 years ago. Of course, we're not talking about 1.8 million people. We're talking about half that size, probably,
right?
Or a million people less. But I remember even when you get like out on the Beltway, there were buses coming in, and things were just completely locked down. Is that going to be a problem?
I think it'll be much less of a problem than it was. All the buses, by the way, are supposed to wind up at RFK parking areas. But considering that it's also a holiday and we'll have fewer people trying to get to work,
that may help.
We should be in much better shape on the highways. It's really only in the core that I'm concerned about for drivers. And, of course, everybody's still encouraging Metro use, and Metro will be running a rush hour service from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m., That should make things a bit easier, yeah.
So they're going to have that high a volume of trains going. So that's the other thing. I mean, I understand that you encourage Metro, but then everyone tries to jam into the first train that they see, thinking that, oh my gosh, we're not going to get another train. But if it's a rush hour, that means like pretty much every 3 minutes there's going to be another train coming.
Sure, of course. That's about right. Depends on what line you are on, but it'll be like that. And really, let's emphasize that we won't have the normal rush hour crowd. It's a little difficult. A lot of people are asking me what time they should get to particular stations on the outer edge to find a parking space. Last time, this was a huge deal. Stations would start filling up at 4:30, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., well before dawn. And this time, I have trouble predicting for them exactly when those stations are likely to fill up because, as you guys know, it'll be such a smaller crowd.
Right. While we got you, I just can't resist the temptation to get you to talk about a couple of things that I always like to talk
pulls
about.
out his list of traffic grievances.
Yeah, look.
Everybody has one.
There's a story out there that says that in the District of Columbia in December of 2012, that the District of Columbia generated some $2 million in traffic camera fine revenue. and that if you compare the 2012 to 2011, the money that they collected in that 1 month was up. Are you ready for this? 2,000%. It's getting, and we're going to get 134 more of these cameras in the District of Columbia. At what point does this get to be too much?
Well, what I always say is, fight big government. Slow down. And you won't have to pay the fine.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're going 37 miles an hour in a 35, you're going to trigger those dang cameras sometimes, and then you get caught in the box.
Is that what it said on your ticket?
I don't go to. No, listen, and this is the truth. I don't go to the District of Columbia. I don't go downtown except on rare occasion now because I'm so tired of it. And look, you get caught in the box. It can happen to anybody. You get caught in the box, and guess what happens? Poof! There goes that camera. You get a ticket.
That's gridlock.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm trying to fight.
So you think these are okay?
I think they're just fine, as long as they're placed in places where speeding is an issue or where blocking the box is an issue. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Well, we'll respectfully disagree, but I still love you.
Well, listen, Brian's other big beef that he airs quite a bit on the show here is bicycles becoming much more integrated into the traffic patterns of the city and outlying cities as well. And what is the encouragement of bikes and the creation of bike lanes, is it working in terms of reducing the number of cars on the road, thus you reducing gridlock and putting you out of work?
I'll always have work. I'm pretty confident that there'll always be sufficient amount of chaos.
There will always be a Dr. Gridlock.
But it's certainly that's the goal. I haven't seen anything that truly measures, in a statistical sense, whether there's been a decline in car driving specifically related to the increase in bike riding that we're seeing in some areas. I think it's probably an insufficient amount of bike lanes and bike ridings to actually have a measurable effect on that.
Well, and also in the wintertime, I mean, I know that I'm looking at the tips for getting around inauguration traffic, and one of them is ride your bike to the inauguration. It's going to be 38 degrees. I mean, really, is someone going to ride a bike in 38 degrees?
I think that the bike folks, Capital Bike Share, for example, I think they're expecting a pretty good turnout.
Wow.
And in fact, last inaugural, same time, we still had thousands and thousands of bike riders last time, and that was pretty cold.
Yeah, the thing I have, did you see that story that was done a while back on Channel 7 about the bike riders? I think it's Channel 7, it's Channel 4, sorry, and where they were talking about how, they really cracked down on, they got these traffic cameras and they got these things, the red light cameras, and so the people who drive cars are meticulously, they have the law enforced meticulously, but the bicycle riders are blowing through red lights. They're not staying in their lane. They're not following the rules of the road that cars have to follow. Do we need to crack down on those people a little bit?
Well, you may be able to tell. I think we should crack down on every form of travel that violates the law. Yeah, I certainly think we should crack down on bike riders, including bike riders who are on the sidewalks in in downtown.
Oh, yeah, they should stay off the sidewalks for sure. I'm with you on that.
And I'm in favor of license plates for both bicyclists and pedestrians.
Dr. Gridlock, thanks for joining us today. On a quickly partisan note, I don't know any conservatives, red staters, Republicans who are going down to the inauguration. So if you're angry about traffic on Monday, blame a Democrat.